What do you want now, you knave?
I'm back.
That's just fantastic. I should kill a fatted calf and open a keg of ale to celebrate his grace's return.
I know. I messed up. Sorry.
Save your apologies for someone who cares. You're lucky I ain't found nobody else. Let's get to it. Take some iron from the chest so you have something to work with. Ah, you fucking piece of shit.
On his house, right? Well, I'll be. And I thought that Henry was a decent fella. God be with you. Take care. May God be with you.
Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up bit by bit. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above you. Give it a pull. It works the bellow. Be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out from time to time and take a look. Try it out. See? That's exactly the straw color we want. You've got talent, lad. Now heat up the whole thing. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side.
I know. Sorry. He's getting old and losing his wits. He's half blind, as good as deaf, and when he takes fright, he nearly bites your hand off.
He used to be such a sweet dog.
I'll give him a bit longer before I take him to the hackers. I don't want to wait for him to fight someone.
Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway.
He was such a cute puppy. We'll miss him when he's gone.
We should get another puppy. Everyone needs something to cheer them up. Take care.
cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Hear that? Besides the sparks, you can tell a good strike by the sound it makes. Sparks are flying nicely. The sparks. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. That's some nice whistling. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking. Right. Let's have a look. Very nice work. Your father taught you the trade well.
He'd certainly be happy to hear that.
If you carry on hammering as well as you did today, you've definitely got a job here. Even so, keep in mind, it's all about making sure every strike does its job. That's why you can't let it get cold, or keep striking the same spot. If you work evenly, each strike falling right next to the last one, you can't go wrong. Got that? Or is there something else you want to ask about?
What good does it do me to whistle while I work?
It makes you work to a rhythm. You won't get tired so quickly, and the iron feels it.
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
You can sleep in the chamber by the woodshed. And there's a chest where you can keep your things. And of course, you can use the forge anytime you want. Any questions?
What now?
What do you think? You're not going to be idle. I'll find you some work to do right away. You're pretty good at swords, but what the locals really need is axes and horseshoes. Right. Here are some simple drawings that show what they're both supposed to look like. And some iron. You can get down to it right away.
Just like that? You aren't going to help me?
Sacre, lad. I chose you because you already know a thing or two. I'm not going to look over your shoulder all bloody day. You take care of these smaller jobs. Forge away as long as you're able, and then sell it all. Once you've made some coin and feel like being out in the open again, I'll give you some more interesting work. What do you want here, you scoundrel? Why'd you barge in here? It's about those two idiot hands of mine, Venser and Franzi. They drove off with a cart full of goods towards Semine, and they never came back.
Do you want me to find them?
Just so. But more importantly, I want to know where my cart ended up. And especially the cargo. Go to Sameen and find out what the bloody hell happened.
Have you any idea which way they might have gone? I could have a look along the way. Maybe their cart broke down or something.
There's only one road to Sameen that can take a cart. It leads from Takov to Troskovitz, and then to the south. But I've got a bad feeling they got up to no good in Sameen.
Those two hands of yours, Venza and Franzi, what can you tell me about them?
Can't tell you much. They're wandering laborers. I don't think they wanted to stay here with me for long. But these days, I can use all the help I can get.
Were they suspicious in any way?
No, they worked hard. They ain't no slackers. And I can't say that about everyone.
What was the cart carrying?
Bugger and bollocks. All sorts of stuff. I'd say Lord Sameen wants to rearm his garrison with new equipment. There were some hunting swords, bastard swords, crossbow bolts. I also fixed the trigger on young Sameen's crossbow. And some kitchen stuff. Sacks of charcoal, all sorts of things. There's a good month's work in that cartload.
All right. I'll get right on it then.
Go ahead. And if you find that pair of fools drunk, kick their asses for me.
Gladly. I'll kick some sobriety into them.
So I says to him, "No, father, I haven't been fornicating. I've just been loving my neighbour."
Hey! You alright there, laddie?
Oh, you should have seen him. He went as red as a cardinal's hat. Aye. Hey, servant, bring some wine.
Me? I'm not a servant.
Oh, I know. Old Sameen is saving supplies for the wedding later. But you didn't need to bother your wee head about that.
Look, I'm not from here.
Oh. I didn't give a fuck what you frae. You speak our language, do you not?
Well, Yarko, seems to me this fella doesn't know how to behave toward his betters.
The old man's hired hands are lacking in manners. We'll soon fix that. Now you're gonna die!
Why did you do that?
Come on then! Come on! Oh, you wee
What
bastard!
in the devil's name is fucking going on here?
What do you think's going on, Grandad? I'm teaching your people here how we do things.
Grandad?
Why, Grandad? An old captain like you probably still remember the flood.
True enough, Yurko. I am old. And I remember all sorts of things. Like you. When you were a little nipper running around here bare arse, with a ribbon in your hair, screaming out how you was Princess Sophie. Poor lad, hadn't a moment's peace from his big sisters.
What about that line?
Who in God's name are you?
Henry. The Takoff Blacksmith sent me. Radovan.
Blacksmith, eh? Then you'll have some explaining to do. Come along and never mind that fool Yuriko. Young Samin's getting married, so we has to put up with his kin from Moravia.
We'll be needing a dozen geese. And I must tell Vashek to get 3 pigs ready for slaughter. And the carters will have to be sent to Yetchin to get at least a peck of poppy seed for cakes. And gingerbread spices. Oh, and wine, too. It's almost all gone, what we bought only last week.
Enter!
Sorry to intrude, sir. This is Henry, Blacksmith Radovan's hand.
Oh, excellent. Dorothy, leave us now. Just make sure that there's plenty of everything so long as it doesn't cost too much.
But, sir...
Not another word! Leave us! So Radovan sent you alone. Who's going to unload it all? It's a whole cartload.
Yeah, Radovan sent me, sir, but not with the goods. The thing is, he's missing his cart, along with the carter in his hands.
What? But they never came here. Are you telling me they got lost?
Well, I couldn't tell you what happened to them, sir, but it's my job to find them.
There are all sorts of vermin roaming the countryside.
Oh, no
sir.
need to imagine the worst right off, gnarly. Anyway, I need the load from that cart, so saddle up your old nag and we'll ride out, Captain. I could do with a breath of fresh air. I've had it up to the eyeballs with counting geese and pies.
What about Henry here, sir?
Well, what about him?
We could use an extra pair of hands. You know how my shoulder's acting up. Yuriko is shit-faced, and your son...
The older has work to do. All right, take Henry with you if you want. Just so long as he doesn't slow us down.
Thank you, sir. So, lad, you going with us? I hope you're happy about it.
It sounds quite dangerous. Wouldn't it be better if I stayed in the kitchen, here? Well, I think I smell cakes.
Aye, stay here and stuff your face. I'd just like to know what you think will happen if we don't find Radovan's hands.
Well, I don't know. But even if I go with you, there's no guarantee we'll find them.
Maybe not, but one thing you should know. Lord Samin ain't in the best humor, but he's a fair man who appreciates a bit of effort.
All right, then.
I'm glad we understand each other. By the way, the fellas at the gate say you came here on foot.
Yeah, I did.
Christ above! And how are you gonna ride with us? On the back of my saddle? You're a bit big for that, ain't ya? And I'm a bit too old.
Actually, that's what I was expecting. How would I ride otherwise?
You wouldn't. You'd walk. Unless you can get yourself a horse.
Well, those don't come cheap.
True. But your luck's in, lad. Our groom brought in a grey nag not long ago. Tell him you've got to ride out with us, and he'll give it to you for a decent price.
All right. Thanks.
Well, that should be that. Unless you've got any more questions.
Actually, there is something I'd like to ask about. I'd like to go and see that wedding.
Wouldn't we all, lad? And what would you do there?
Well, I heard Lord von Burghoff will be at the wedding, and I need to speak with him.
Son, I don't know if you're serious or yanking my pizzle. Anyways, you're Radovan's hand, ain't ya? He'll be coming to the wedding. He's making a wedding gift for the groom. Stick with him, and maybe he'll take you with him.
I'd like to go and see that wedding.
Wouldn't we all, lad? And what would you do there?
Well, I heard Lord von Burghoff will be at the wedding, and I need to...
Son, anyways, stick with...
We should probably get going.
That we should. But it's getting pretty late. We need daylight for a search like that. Come back in the morning and we'll set out. If you want, stay here. You'll get a bit of grub in the kitchen and you can sleep in the barn.
Doesn't it bother you, walking around here like some kind of animal?
I'm ready to set out, sir.
All right. Stay close to us and don't go wandering off.
As you say, sir.
They had to pass through Troskovitz.
Right, sir. You keep up with us, son. Troskovitz ain't far, but it seems there's fellas vanishing on the way.
Very good, Captain.
What do you think about it, Captain?
I know you told me not to jump to any conclusions, sir, but I can't help myself. Someone's running rampant around here, sir.
I know who's running rampant. Yurko in the cellar. We're out of wine again. I knew this wedding wouldn't be cheap, but I'm bleeding like a stuck pig. And the bailiff, the bride's father, you'd get more blood out of a stone than coin out of him. And then he behaves like I shit golden eggs just because I'm a noble. Even though he's got more coin than me.
Such are the times, sir. But that Yurko, he's going too far.
You know how those Moravians are. It's in his blood.
Aye, I noticed. But they're getting too much to handle. Him and his cronies. They started on young Henry, soon as he set foot on the courtyard.
What? Is that true, Henry? Cat got your tongue? I can understand that. So how did this little brawl of yours end up?
Young Henry here gave Yurko a nice hammering.
Oh, that's no surprise. The fella can hardly stand upright most of the time.
You'd have to get up early to catch them sober. But they wasn't that drunk as to give Henry an easy fight.
Look here, lad. If you're such a champion, I'm sure you'd accept the challenge of an old man like myself. Nothing to say. I'll take that for a yes, then. There's an abandoned pen along the path a bit. We'll stop off there and see what you're made of.
All right, sir. If you'll excuse me, I'll explain some things to the youngster here first. Wouldn't want no accidents happening.
So, we're here. Gnarly, tell the youngster here what's what.
You have a kind master. I'm sorry.
All right, son. You're going to fight Lord Samine.
It'll be an honorable fight, so you better act accordingly. Hold on, Mo. I'll give you some gear for it.
What weapon will you give me?
What would you like?
Sword?
Don't get ahead of yourself, laddie. A sword belongs in noble hands. You can have my cudgel. It might be just a stick, but it's my stick, so careful with it. I also looked through the saddlebags and found an old jupon, and something that could pass for a helmet. You better take it, so you last at least a little while.
Thank you, Captain.
Save the thanks, and get your arse into the pen.
Jesus, I'm hit. A bandage, quick. Whew. I hope.
What do you say, son?
I didn't even work up a sweat.
Climb off your high horse, sonny. You might have won, but you ought to show a bit of respect.
Oh, leave him be, Gnarly. He's young. He'll figure it out on his own in time.
Anyways, you can keep that old junk, Henry. Even my cudgel. But take care of the old fella. He might be just a piece of wood, but he saved my arse more than once.
I will, Captain.
And since you won, I've got something else for you as well. My shield.
Isn't that a bit too much, Gnarly?
Sir, my left shoulder's fucked anyway. I can't carry no shield.
True enough.
Thank you.
I needed that. It's good to stretch the limbs every now and again. And you're pretty handy, youngster. You should come to the courtyard, and Gnarly here will give you a good education in the art of the sword.
I call it the art of not getting skewered as soon as you step foot outside the village. But do come, Henry. We've got a nice arena in Samid. It ain't no abandoned pig pen.
You can't always choose your battleground, Gnarly. Whether it's a pig pen or an arena in Karlstein. It's the performance that counts. And while we're on the subject, where are you from, lad? It's clear you're not from Trotsky. A silent stranger. Well, well.
Hey, did you forget your clothes somewhere?
So, we're in Troskovitz. What now, sir? Should I go to the bailiff and ask if he might have seen someone?
Well, that makes sense. But the young fella here should do it. If the bailiff sees you, he'll guess I'm in the village and come and bother me. And I'm really not in the mood today for any bombardment of complaints.
I understand, sir. All right, Henry. Run along to the rat house and inquire about that wagon.
And Henry, not a word about me. Are we clear?
As you wish, sir. Master Bailiff, can I ask you about something?
Ask away, by all means. Wait now, aren't you that lad who's helping Radovan in the forge?
Yeah, that's me.
I heard his hired hands went missing.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm here.
Ah, I was thinking they were driving awful fast with that cart.
You saw them?
I did, a few days back. They raced through the village in the early evening so fast, they were dropping sacks of charcoal.
Where were they headed?
Towards the east, to Apollonia on the road to Yichin. And you're looking for them?
I am indeed.
I'm glad to hear it. I heard there were goods for Semine on that cart, and I can do without that kind of trouble now, on account of the wedding, you know?
It seems you have a lot of concerns with that wedding, Master Bailiff.
Of course I do. I'm the father of the bride, after all. Although not everyone sees eye to eye with me. Lord Semine would be happier if I paid all the bills and left all the decisions up to him. Who's invited, what there'll be to eat and drink, entertainment, everything. It's not like I have a burning desire to deal with it, but if I'm going to pay for it...
I understand. But isn't it just that the groom's family is more concerned about these things?
That's not it. I'll tell you what it is. It's because Lord Semine is a noble and I'm just a commoner. Only I've got coin. While he's trying to keep the wolf from the door in that piddling estate of his.
You ought to calm down, Master Bailiff. That kind of talk can stir things up.
You're right, of course. It just makes me mad, though.
I understand. Do you know anything about Radovan's hired hands?
Only what I've told you. But to tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind if they never turned up again.
Why's that?
Well, they might look like butter wouldn't melt in their mouths, and Radovan praises them, but I know people. That pair have mischief in their eyes. I can tell.
Do you know anything about Radovan's hired hands?
Only what I've told you. But to tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind if they never turned up again.
Why's that?
Well, they might look like butter wouldn't melt in their mouths, and Radovan praises them, but I know people. That pair have mischief in their eyes. I can tell.
That'll be all. Thanks.
Well then, young man, how did it go?
They were spotted here, sir. Going to the east, towards Apollonia.
So to Yichin? The bastards! And what about my goods?
Oh, they were driving so fast, it was falling off the cart.
The thieving scum. Let's hurry. To Yichin.
Sir, I can send a message to the Yichin captain of the guard.
Oh, it'll take too long. We'll go and get them ourselves.
Won't you be missing preparations for the wedding at home, sir?
I will. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ. If I have to choose between riding to Yichin and listening to Dorothy's head... Henry, watch where you're going. Good day, dear. Stop wandering off. We won't wait for you forever.
Won't you be missing preparations for the wedding at home, sir?
I will. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ. If I have to choose between riding to Yichin and listening to Dorothy's endless fussing, I'll take Yichin any time. Besides, there's a nice inn along the way, the Three Cats. We can spend the night there.
I remember that place, but I'm not sure, sir, if they'll let the two of us set foot inside the door.
Oh, gnarly, that was 15 summers ago. God knows if the place is even still standing.
True. Still, we'd better keep our eyes peeled. They might not have gone to Yichin. They could have turned off somewhere. Or something could have happened. They might have been ambushed, maybe.
Will you give over with that? I'll bet my braves they weren't ambushed. More likely we'll find them boozing at the Three Cats.
That'd surely be the best outcome, if that old dive is still standing. Let's go, then. So, St. Anthony, which way now?
While you're praying to the patron saint of lost things, go and have a look along the road, Gnarly. And you, Henry, have a look to the left.
All right, sir. But don't forget, my eyesight ain't what it used to be.
Well, that's what we have the youngster for, isn't it? Off you go.
A sack of charcoal? That could have fallen off the cart.
You found anything, lad?
There's a sack of charcoal lying in the ditch to the left of the road. The bailiff said they were driving like the devil, so maybe it fell from the cart.
Oh, that makes sense. To the left it is, then. Gnarly! Back here!
I can feel it in my bones, sir. You'll have the car back in no time.
I just hope we find the horses, too. Yarmilka here ain't the youngest, and I wouldn't want to drag it back home myself.
A nobleman in harness. We ain't ever had such a spectacle in these parts.
You might get to see it soon enough. The lords in this country have all gone to the dogs. Every lowborn with a bit of coin builds a house in Kuttenberg while we live in squalor. Why do you reckon that is, lad?
That's a tough question, sir. But nothing happens on God's green earth without his will. If that's the way God wants it, there's nothing you can do.
None of this would be happening if we had a king. And I mean a real one. Not Wenceslas or Sigismund. Oh, anywhere that's not ruled by a strong hand, all sorts of things go wrong.
Especially when you've got Moravian relatives eating you out of house and home.
Oh, hold up. This is strange. I don't see any cart tracks. What do you reckon, Gnarly?
I'm blind as a mole, sir. But it's all peculiar, right enough. Where the hell could that cart have vanished to?
Well, that's just it. They had nowhere to turn off.
I'll look up the road a bit. And you, Henry, have a look back along the road. Maybe it fell in a ditch somewhere. Who knows?
Very well, sir. The blacksmith's cart. And someone went... to a hell of a lot of trouble to hide it from the road. Hey! I found the blacksmith's cart! Come here!
Well, now, here we have it. The blacksmith's cart.
And someone went to a lot of trouble to hide it from the road.
Of course, the goods are gone. The bastards hauled it off to the rocks. That's clear. Well, we can't let them get away with it. We'll carry on, but on foot. My old young milker would only break a leg there. And keep a sharp lookout. Something stinks here.
I told you, they got ambushed by them bastards that's on the rampage around here, sir.
Oh, be quiet. We still can't be sure of anything.
Ah, Apollonia. I spent a lot of time running around here with the young.
Oh, not me. This place always gave me the shivers.
God's truth, I ain't got only good memories of it. One time, got my legs stuck in a crevice a bit further on. Trapped there all night I was, shitting myself with fear. It wasn't till morning that the folk from the fortress found me. The whole of Sameen was out looking for me.
See, at least you came here as a kid. It still gives me the creeps here.
Why's that, sir? It's just some rocks, ain't it?
You'd sing a different tune if you'd had the rope-maker's wife as a nanny when you were little. Now, she had some tales about this place. Headless horsemen, goblins, and white ladies. Every night, we'd gather by the hearth. The old woman would sit at her spinning wheel telling stories. I'll tell you, Captain, there isn't much I'm afraid of. But when that blind old crone was croaking her tales of devils and holes to hell, with the fire crackling and the wind whistling outside the windows, and the whirring of the spinning wheel. Oh.
It's true about them devils, though.
Shh. Wait a moment. Do you hear that?
I do. There's somebody there, sure enough.
Let's get closer.
Like, fuck he ordains you. Just 'cause old Stumble poured some pond water on your head in the woods don't mean it.
What do we do now? I heard more than two voices.
I used to clamber around here as a young lad. The girls from Slatigo used to come make a fire here and jump over it. And so's their underwear wouldn't catch fire. Sometimes they'd take it off.
That's nice, Gnarly, but I don't think it's scantily clad maidens we'll be running into here. So what's that got to do with anything?
Well, there's a nice view into the gorge from up there. We only have to go back a bit, and we can get up there nicely.
Right. Henry, what are you waiting for? This is just the kind of thing we took you along for.
Sure, sir. With a bit of luck, there might be some girls there, too.
I could do without girls with voices like that. Now get going.
You don't. On him. You don't say. You really saw that?
I'm not kidding. Honza, tell him I'm not having him on. You saw it too.
Those definitely aren't the blacksmith's hands.
I saw it with my own two eyes. She had one different than the other.
All right. But that ain't...
So how's it look, Sonny? How many?
I saw 3. And they don't look like Radovan's hands.
And what about my goods?
I didn't see them. It looked more like a patrol. I reckon there might be more of them hereabouts.
Seems we can't avoid a fight. I hope you're ready, Henry.
Sure am, sir.
I wouldn't worry about Henry, sir. He showed us mettle and training. So, how are we gonna do it? Do you just want to charge them, sir?
What else do you suggest?
She might be hexed, or maybe a witch. You see, hexes...
Someone could go back up top and try to take one of them down with an arrow before we charge them. There's a good view of the camp from up there.
Good idea. Borrow my crossbow. My shoulder's giving me jip anyway.
All right, sir.
Climb up top, and as soon as you shoot the first time, we'll charge them. And make sure you don't hit one of us.
Right you are, Captain.
For amusement, not listen to your
Have you forgotten? I was ordained to... ignoramus.
For fuck's sake, you was never ordained, Honza.
I was. Stumble did it. In the forest chapel by Bodhidharma.
Like fuck he ordained you. Just 'cause old Stumble poured some pond water on your head. You're mine!
We'll kick your ass!
Jump for
with him!
Now you're finished. He's done for.
Come on, then.
Oh, this day took it out of me, and no mistake.
And it ain't over yet, sir. Your goods ain't here, and none of them bastards look like the blacksmith's hands. Am I right, Henry?
Hard to say. I've never actually seen them, but I don't think it was them.
Me neither. But right past that peak is another good camping spot.
You think this was a patrol?
It makes sense. But I don't want to go assuming the worst. We might have just run into them bandits by chance.
Yeah, well, you were right, as always. Let's go, then. Are you ready, Henry?
I am. Let's go.
Hold on, lad. Give me back my crossbow. You weren't thinking of keeping it, were you?
Of course. You did a good job.
I should bloody think so.
I thought we had everything clear, then, sir. You tried to fuck with me, so until we ride out, you're gonna stick right there and keep your mouth shut.
We did everything you asked. We got the blacksmith cart and the goods.
Horse shit. You tried to fuck me. That bastard cousin of yours owned up to it.
It was his idea. I wanted nothing to do with it.
It makes no difference to me, Venser. You vouched for the crooked fucker. So now, it's on you. Actually, you could consider yourself lucky. If you hadn't saved my ass that time in Colleen, I'd have goat ear skin you alive.
Bastards. You can't trust anyone in these parts. Get ready, Gnarly. We are going to parley.
Like that time with the Johnny, sir?
Yes, exactly.
Only there was more of us that time, and less of them.
Oh, don't worry, there won't be a problem. They're just common thieves. Besides, I'll take young Henry with me.
What, me?
And if they're still feeling brave, you get to try out that new plaything of yours.
Ahem, gentlemen. I'm obliged to you for looking after my goods, but I'll take them back now. Just hand them over, and I'll let you go.
Oh, you must be from Samin, sir. Well, of course you can have everything back. As long as you ask nicely, eh? Well, how about we do things differently? You lay down your weapons, and we can all have a nice little chat. I mean, I don't intend to go murdering local lords. I just want your coin.
That's very noble of you, sir.
What are you gaping at? At them!
I'll kill you. Hammer them, men! Fuck you!
We'll finish this quickly.
Only with him!
Take that fucker out, damn it!
Rush him!
We're gonna gut you. Had enough, have you?
Useless.
Got them!
Come on, then.
Hey, get him! Come on, then!
Take that! I'll rip your arse open! They got what they deserved, the fuckers! Henry! Hey, Henry! Are you listening? Come here!
What now?
One of them bastards fled into the rocks. Chase him down and bring him back.
Be quiet. We'll decide what to do with you later. What about your family?
Did you see which way he went?
No, I had other things on my hands. Besides, you're the one who's supposed to keep watch.
So, tell me why I shouldn't hang you from the nearest tree, huh?
But they'd taken him captive. What use would he be to us?
Are you deaf? Didn't you hear what they said? They took him captive because he wanted to drive off with the load. They fucked over Radovan, fucked over his lordship, and wanted to fuck over that bandit too. They were in cahoots. Only the thief wanted to rob the thieves.
Uh-huh.
And they deserve the same punishment, if not more.
And what punishment can he expect? Maybe he'd surrender to me if I could promise him something.
Now listen up, Henry. We don't promise nothing to no scum. Never. He'll most likely get the rope. And if you promise him anything else, you'll be lying. Don't forget, a man's word of honor is what separates a noble from a robber.
I'll go and track him then.
Great. Hurry.
No, it's not.
At least there's something.
We agree on? Like I said, we'll see what will happen to you.
We won't get far. Mind where you're going.
I've got you now, Venser. You've nowhere to run to. Yield.
Well, why the fuck would I? It's just you against me. Besides, if I do yield, it's the rope for me anyway.
One-on-one, yeah. But it must be clear to you that you're no match for me. Even if the noose is waiting for you, it's still a more pleasant death than getting your head smashed in with a rock. And believe me, I'll do it if there's no other way.
Fuck! All right, I'll come with you. But you'll put a word in for me.
I might. As long as you don't try anything.
Promise me.
I won't promise you anything. Now, come on. I've got a prisoner for you, sir.
Excellent. It all worked out quite well in the end. Gnarly will take care of this scum.
What about Gules?
He caught a few good hits, but he's alive. We'll take him with us. I need to have a strong word with him. You did a good job, youngster. You've got heart. And so you don't say I had you clambering over these rocks for nothing. Here's something for you.
Thank you, sir.
Don't thank me, you deserved it. And now, let's get that accursed cart back to Samin. Want a ride? We'll go via Troskovitz. We can drop you off there, and you won't have far to Tarkov. You ought to report back to Radovan as soon as possible. about what happened with his hands.
A ride would be great. My legs are sore.
Wait until you're my age. Well, let's get going.
I didn't do nothing wrong, I swear. It's all Vence's fault. It was him who said we'll sell the car to Gills.
It weren't like that at all. We shook on it. But on the way, you had the idea we'd keep it.
What? That ain't true.
Leave it out, you two. One way or another, you wanted to fuck me over. Doesn't matter whose idea it was.
We didn't want to steal it. Well, Vence did. I didn't know what was going to happen.
I didn't want nothing. I got mixed up in this by mistake.
Stop arguing, or I'll unhitch the car and let the horses drag you the rest of the way.
Huh. Where are you taking us?
To Sameen, where his lordship will hear you out and decide what to do with you.
I hope you realize you can't just execute me.
Ah, it depends. By rights, I should send a plea to some court to decide if we can behead you. But in these shitty times, nobody will give a toss. Parchment's dear, and ink ain't free either. So as far as I'm concerned, I'd happily risk it and knock your head off without permission.
I see how the law is respected here.
Ha! Are you yanking my pizzle? You're a fine one to talk about law.
And what will happen to us?
If Lord Semeen's in a good mood, he'll try to find out whose idea it was.
It definitely wasn't mine.
You're such a rat, Frenzy.
On the other hand, when I hear you lot going on and on, I reckon he might not give a damn.
I'm innocent. I swear on my soul.
Is that supposed to soften my heart? Pah! Every man she could, I dragged to the gallows. Swore on his mother. Nobody with any decency would risk his mother's immortal soul, even if he was as pure as the driven snow. But this bastard doesn't think twice about his soul. You should be ashamed of yourself.
The captain's right. Only the lowest of the low swears on his...
So, job done. The cart was found and driven to Lord Semeen's courtyard.
Whew. That's a relief. And what happened to that pair of idiots?
It turned out they tried to rob you.
Oh. They did they?
Aye. They plotted with some robber baron called Gules and brought the cart to him.
The bastards. I should have realized they were a bit too keen on work. And how did you get the cart back?
Well, I went to Semeen, and they were wondering there too where the wagon got to. So we rode out to look for it. Me, Lord Semeen, and his captain, Gnarly.
Well, God's nails. And the three of you tracked them down? The whole band?
That's right. They were hiding in Apollonia, along with the cart and the goods.
Indeed. Where else? The bastards. And what about my hands?
I'm not sure. Lord Semeen took them and Gules to his courtyard. We'll see how he deals with them.
I'd know what to do with them.
Don't worry. I don't think Lord Semeen will let them off lightly.
Anyway, the main thing is the cart turned up. I'd be in a right mess if it didn't.
No doubt.
And you've earned a reward for your trouble. I've got just the thing for you. Some mercenary once had his cuirass repaired here, but never came back for it. Who knows what happened to him? So now it's yours. It's been through a bit, but it'll still serve for a while.
Thanks. It'll come in handy. And have you got another job for me?
Young Lord Semeen's wedding is coming up, and it's got my head spinning. Look, You must have seen Agnes, the bailiff's daughter, when you were in Truscovitz. What do you think of her?
Well, young Semyon is marrying her, isn't he? Why would I have my eye on her?
Don't pretend. A statue of a saint would have his eye on her. Looks ain't everything, though. She's got such a sharp tongue on her. I almost feel sorry for young Semyon. And how about you, lad? Have you got some lass waiting in Sasau?
Yeah. And I hope she'll wait. Her name's Teresa. Her uncle owns a mill on the river in Ratai.
A girl from the mill? You want to watch out for them types. You might get caught up in devilry, lad. A wedding's a serious business. You're not just getting a bride, but a whole family. So you have to show them you're a man who's worth it. All the more so when you're noble-born. Old Semyon wants a special sword forged for his son's wedding present.
Excellent. So what are we waiting for? Should we get to work?
Hold your horses. It can't be any old steel. This has to be a first-class job.
A blade of first-class steel?
That's right. And that's just the problem.
Ah, I see. We don't have any welded steel for that kind of sword, do we?
God's nails. You really know your stuff, youngster. And you're right. We don't have the steel for a strong sword that won't break.
I'd like to know where you're going to get your hands on some welded steel.
Relax, lad. I've got it all figured out, as it happens. There's this old hermit called Ambrose, living in Apollonia.
And he can pray for us?
God's nails, let me finish talking. The word is, he was fighting heathens years ago in faraway Andalusia, and folks say they saw this interesting broken sword in his hut. From the description, it seems our peculiar hermit has a real Toledo blade.
Welded Spanish steel? There's nothing better for a sword.
See now? You do understand. But there's a catch.
Naturally.
They say that Ambrose the Hermit has changed a lot recently. People from far and wide used to go to him for remedies and blessings. But now he won't see no one. I even heard he made a pact with the devil. And there have been other strange goings-on.
What strange goings-on?
I heard something in the tavern about some apparition, but that's all I know.
Right. I'll try to find out more about the Hermit's sword. But in return, you'll get me invited to Semyon's wedding.
If it means so much to you, why not? Come and see Betty from the Truscovitz Tavern. She knows all the gossip. She'll definitely tell you more about the Hermit. But Henry, if there's any truth in that pact with the devil, don't get caught up in it. The best sword in the world isn't worth eternal damnation.
Are you blind?
The Lord be with you. What do you need?
I need some advice.
You want some advice? Here's some for free. I catch you fighting here again, and I'll spank your bare ass like a brat. Down to business. I don't have all day for you, so what do you want?
I promised Radovan the Blacksmith I'd go and see Ambrose the Hermit in Apollonia.
My God, lad, stay away from them rocks. Ambrose the Hermit sold his soul to the devil and won't talk to nobody no more.
Yeah, I heard that as well. But it seems a bit far-fetched.
So why would an evil spirit suddenly start appearing near Apollonia? It's the devil's work, believe you me.
And has anyone sent to the castle for the priest?
Not at all. Bailiff Thrush is keeping it quiet so far. 4 strangers came here yesterday. They sat in the corner there, but once they heard about the apparition, they started to take a big interest.
What strangers?
They looked like monks, only they had daggers concealed under their robes. I saw them clearly. I'm telling you, there's something fishy going on around Ambrose.
But I have to speak to him.
Didn't you hear what I said? He doesn't speak to nobody. He hides away in his hut and sends everyone away. I'd think long and hard before doing anything if I was you, because this reeks of hell.
There's something else I need to know about this hermit.
Ask then if you must.
What do you know about this apparition?
Stanislav, the herds boy. He comes running into the village that night, all terrified, saying he'd seen a rider from hell in Apollonia. And the very next night, it appeared in the rocks below the road to Tahov. There's this conciliatory stone cross there. And the next day, it was at a funny angle. There's some devilry in it for sure.
And it was the herds boy who saw it by the cross, or someone else?
The apothecary's wife, Gerda. Ask her yourself. She's not been herself ever since, poor woman.
Where can I find the herds boy?
Stanislav has a sheep pen in the meadow beyond the Troskovitz graveyard, right above the big crossroads outside Apollonia.
How do I get to the hermit?
You're asking for trouble, lad. But all right, if you insist, you go through Apollonia along the path below the rocks till you reach the point where it crosses the stream. And from there, you take the path uphill to the left, leading into the rocks.
Who's this hermit fella, anyway?
No one knows. He settled in the rocks a few years back. Folk used to go to him for various healing ointments or advice.
And what has he got to do with this apparition?
Well, he was at death's door recently, bedridden, and then suddenly he's got his health back. Just like that. And he's like a different man since then. He sends everyone who goes to see him packing. Mark my words. He sold his soul to the devil to get better. And the devil sometimes comes here on the prowl for unwary souls.
Where did these peculiar monks come from?
Hard to say, but they rode in on well-fed horses.
Monks on horseback? That's definitely odd.
Well, Bashka the Butcher says they came from the bishop about that diabolical apparition. In short, the Inquisition.
Show me your wares.
Good day to you.
I hear you saw some diabolical apparition. Is that true?
Was it the bailiff who sent you? Or old Croper?
No. I want to go to Apollonia to see Ambrose, the hermit. I've heard talk he's somehow linked to that apparition. So I need to know what you saw that night.
Why do you want to know? Forget that shit, pal. It reeks of fire and brimstone.
Look, mate, I'll gladly give you a few groschen, but spit it out now. Here you are.
What did you want to know?
What exactly did you see that night at the crossroads?
A diabolical apparition. A black rider on a black horse flew into Apollonia. His eyes glowed, and his horse was black as charcoal. He turned this way and that a couple of times at the crossroads, and then darted off into the rocks. To the Hermit's place, I'm sure.
He turned this way and that. That's strange. Would the devil not know the way?
I'm telling the truth. Gerda from the apothecary saw him too.
But the hermit helps people though, doesn't he?
Aye, he did. Only now they're saying he was at death's door and sold his soul to the devil. And that was the horseman.
Why? Why would the old man have sold his soul to the devil and then kept living as a pauper in his hut?
Who knows what's going on in them rocks? Some devilish trickery for sure. See you soon, my friend.
I'd like to ask you about something.
No, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Go away, please.
How about a couple of groschen for a couple of questions?
What was it you wanted to know?
Relax, Gerda. Have a think, and then tell me what happened with the apparition.
It was the day before yesterday. I was picking marshmallow roots above the rocks. It grows by the cross there, near the big dry tree not far from the road to Tachov. I didn't get home till after dark when I suddenly realized I didn't have my knife.
So you went back to the cross?
God have mercy. He hopped up right out of the ground in front of me. He was all in black and he was grinding his teeth. I started to scream. There was something glinting in the dark and this clanking sound, and I just turned and scarpered.
That's all?
At one point I turned around and I saw a dark shadow darting across the field. Proper flying along it was, like the devil, and heading straight to Apollonia.
What's this place where you saw the apparition?
It's a conciliatory cross, erected in the memory of some innocent's death. They say some years ago, a young fellow killed himself on account of an unhappy love affair. He jumped from a cliff.
And the day after you saw the apparition, the cross was at an angle?
Aye, all askew. Everyone here saw it. I didn't go back. I can't.
Don't worry, Gerda. Nobody's going to make fun of you anymore. I'll find out what it was all about and what you really saw there.
What do you think happened?
If the devil's at large here, someone summoned him and should be punished for it. But you needn't fear. Everything will get cleared up soon.
Thank you. By all the saints, thank you. But please, come and tell me how it turned out. I'll make it worth your while.
Cruelty and wickedness. You may say that God created Adam and all men in his image, so they can't be all that bad.
What happened to Ambrose the Hermit?
He's at death's door with some ailment, and there's a peculiar talk about him. They say he made a pact with hell.
I hear Ambrose the Hermit has some old sword.
A few folks saw it at his place some years ago, but then it disappeared. Maybe he sold it, or chucked it out.
I heard a shepherd saw an apparition in the rocks.
It's not wise to go there. There's a diabolical horseman haunting the place.
What do you know about the apparition at the cross?
It's all God's holy truth. Gerda from the apothecaries saw the devil there. Well...
Fresh soil. Someone was digging here recently. It doesn't look like an apparition, Gerda. I didn't take either the coin or the books. Huh. A horse? What's it doing here in the woods? I should take a closer look. A beautiful horse. Black as charcoal. The herd boy wasn't lying. And you don't smell of brimstone. You're just an ordinary horse. Someone... God be with you, Hermit.
I don't have time for you. Go away.
Folk in the village are saying you've made a miraculous recovery. And since then, you won't let anyone near you. What happened?
Nothing happened. I just can't stand all these people coming here and disturbing me. Can't I have a moment's peace?
I came about that sword of yours. I'd like to buy it from you.
I'll keep my sword, thanks very much. It's a fine piece.
Right. Long since broken and unused. I wouldn't hum and haw too long if I were you. Radovan the Blacksmith will give you a good price for it.
Oh, right. You mean that sword? I don't have it anymore.
Judging by what I've heard about you, You're a bit fishy, Hermit.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of talk about you in the village. They say you've made a pact with the devil, and are summoning demons from hell.
Old wives' tales. What do I care about such nonsense?
Well, but supposing it isn't nonsense?
Of course it is.
The apparition was seen by the conciliatory cross at night.
Old wives' tales.
I went to take a look, and it really is askew. But it wasn't magic that Hellspawn was wielding. It was a shovel. There was a hiding place beneath the cross. And the man digging there at night didn't have time to put the cross back in the right position.
By all the saints! So someone was digging there. What has that to do with me?
The man who took things from the hiding place can't have been some chance thief, because he left a purse full of coin there.
So keep the groschen, lad, and stop pestering me. It's nothing to do with me.
I found some pretty interesting documents of the Order.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I reckon you do, Ambrose. According to one of the documents, you were appointed Seneschal of the Knights of the Cross with the Red Star. Or are you going to tell me it was some other Ambrose?
I'm not going to tell you anything. I don't know anything about any documents.
That's enough. I think there are enough fishy things going on around you for me to tell the bailiff. But you're in luck. All I'm after is that broken sword. So, come clean.
You're wide of the mark. But in the end, maybe you could help me.
What do you want help with, Ambrose?
I'm not Ambrose. He died some time ago. I am Conrad, Knight of the Cross with the Red Star.
What are you doing in the Hermit's hut, then?
In Prague, I got into a serious dispute. Ambrose was the only person who could help me. That's why I came to see him.
I'm guessing that the diabolical horseman scaring people round these parts was you.
That was not my intention, believe me.
Ambrose is dead, you say? How did it happen?
He was an old man. Unfortunately, he was already at death's door when I found him.
And you had nothing to do with his death?
Of course not. Ambrose was my friend. I'd known him for 20 years. He was a good member of the Order and an outstanding teacher.
Ambrose was a member of your order?
More than a member. He was the Seneschal, second in rank only to the Grand Master. He served the Order for many years before getting into a dispute with the Prague chapter and the Inquisition. Then he had to disappear. I was the only one to know where to look for him. But I came too late. All he managed to tell me was his last wish.
You scared the life out of Gerda from Troskovitz that night. What were you doing there?
Ambrose had a hiding place beneath the cross where he kept things from his past.
I found some documents there from the Knights of the Cross. But Ambrose clearly wasn't interested in them. So what did he send you to get?
He sensed that death was coming for him. He wanted me to help settle his affairs. And he also longed to hold his old sword in his hands one last time. I went to his hiding place that very night. But by the time I got back, Ambrose was dead. I put the blade on his grave in place of a cross.
So the sword is on Ambrose's grave. Will you tell me where I can find it?
You want to disturb his rest?
I just want the sword, that's all. It's no use to him now.
All right. I'll tell you where his grave is if you fulfill Ambrose's last wish instead of me. I can't do it.
All right. What am I supposed to do?
Listen carefully, then. There's an old widow called Margaret living in the village. Take this cross to her and say to her exactly these words. Margaret, Ambrose forgives you, but his brother must get what is rightfully his.
Margaret, Ambrose forgives you, but his brother must get what is rightfully his.
That's right.
I hope she'll know what this is about.
Don't worry, she will. Give her the cross, and I'll tell you where you can find the sword. Benedictio Domini sit tecum.
This might seem strange, but I'm supposed to give you this.
A cross? Mother of God. What's the meaning of this?
Margaret, Ambrose forgives you, but his brother must get what he deserves.
Ambrose? The Hermit?
It was his wish that I give you the cross and the message. He said you'd know what it's about.
Oh my God! By all that's holy, it couldn't possibly be him. All those years, I'd lost hope. I never forgave myself. I committed a mortal sin.
Well, I don't know what you did. But this is supposed to be your absolution.
No, there's no absolution. Not yet. You said it yourself. Not until Ambrose's brother gets what he deserves. The bones. They still lie there outside the wall. Help me. His soul must find peace.
All right. I'll help you. But you'll have to tell me more.
Thank you, lad, thank you. But not here. We must go to the graveyard. That's where my curse lies.
Let's go then. There's no time to waste.
Here it is.
What does the graveyard have to do with absolution?
Hold on. Not so fast. I'll tell you everything. First, tell me, are you afraid of the dead?
It's the living I'm more afraid of than the dead.
One should fear the dead. But in the end, it's probably a good thing that you have no fear. You see, one poor soul is waiting for redemption. For years and years.
Ah, I get it now. Ambrose's brother has to get what he deserves. This is about the soul of Ambrose's brother.
His name was Jaunt. He lies outside the graveyard wall, buried without rites. He's been there for 30 years.
Why doesn't he have a proper grave?
Because suicides can't enter the kingdom of heaven. They have to be buried outside the walls, like the unclean. The worst thing about it is that Jaunt didn't kill himself. He didn't deserve such a dishonourable burial, and it's my fault. I said nothing.
What happened to him?
The memories are painful. We were childhood friends, and Jaunt loved me. Only, I chose his friend Vashek over him. He couldn't get over the rejection, so he lay in wait for Vashek one evening.
And Vashek killed him?
It was an accident. They quarrelled. Jaunt drew his sword first, and Vashek had to defend himself. Apparently, they got close to the cliff edge while they were fighting, and Jaunt fell. When they found his body at the bottom of the cliff, people thought he'd killed himself. The only one who didn't believe it was Jaunt's brother.
Did you see it? Were you there?
No, but I believed my Vashek. He would never have lied to me. It pained him till the day he died, and he lived in fear of Jaunt's brother creeping up behind him one day and taking his revenge. In the end, that fear ate him up from inside.
Why didn't Ambrose avenge his brother Jan's death? He must have realised that you two were involved in it.
He went away to Prague and joined an order of knights. He didn't want revenge, most likely. He let us live in peace.
But then he came back and became a hermit in Apollonia. It never occurred to you that it was him?
No. His name was Adam before, but he changed it to Ambrose. Besides, he got old, and I don't go to the cliffs much.
Ah, the conciliatory cross where they saw the apparition. That's to commemorate Jaunt.
His brother Ambrose had it built there. And those diabolical apparitions. It's my fault for saying nothing. God is punishing me for my sins.
Nonsense. God wouldn't use a diabolical apparition to scare you, would he? And what's more, Ambrose forgave you, didn't he?
Only on the condition that Jaunt's bones will be laid to rest in consecrated ground. Help me lay him to rest in a proper grave, please.
But without telling the priest and gravedigger. Isn't that sacrilege?
That's the only way we can put right a terrible mistake. Jan didn't kill himself.
All right. We'll give him a proper burial. Jan's soul has the right to eternal rest.
Thank you. The Lord will pay you back 100-fold. There's a rose bush outside the graveyard wall. You'll find his bones beneath it. Please bury him beside my Vashek. Here, beneath the pine tree. In that way they'll be reconciled, at least in death. Then place Ambrose's cross on his grave to bless their reconciliation.
Watch where you're going.
The angel of the Lord declared unto Mary, and she conceived of the Holy Spirit. Hail Mary. And Mary said, Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord. Be it done unto me according to thy word. Hail Mary. And the word was made flesh. Hail Mary. Pray for us, O Holy Mother of God. May by his passion and cross be brought to same Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord is with thee. Intercede for my...
Your journey ends here, Jan. I don't know what you have on your conscience. But rest in peace. I don't know much about prayer in these situations, but... Our Father, there are many sinners in this world, but in the end, we all face your judgment for what we should have done, but lacked the courage to do. So forgive me this little sacrilege. You know better than anyone that it was the right thing to do. Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven, and deliver us from evil. Amen. Ambrose's brother Jan got what he deserved. Just as the Hermit wanted.
I saw that. May his soul find peace at last.
And yours too, Margaret.
30 years. I thought about it every day.
It's all right now. You did the right thing. Everything else is beyond the law of man.
I'd like to reward you somehow.
I expect you wouldn't want anyone to hear about all this, right?
Well, if you... Will you keep it to yourself?
All right. I'll accept the coin, and that'll be the end of it.
Thank you again for your help. God be with you, Henry. Farewell. And maybe wash up a bit, so you don't scare people.
Amen.
Hey, fella! Listen! We need help!
God!
Mata misericordia. Vita.
Who are you? And who do you serve?
We are Knights of the Cross with the Red Star. Good brothers in Christ. I'll explain everything, but there's no time now. We have to act fast. Our brother Klesgen is dying. The crazy fool shot him. Help us.
All right, we'll have a quiet talk. What happened?
If you're going to see the Hermit, be warned. The man in the hut is just pretending to be the Hermit. His name is Conrad, and he's a fraud and a murderer. The Inquisition paid him to murder our Grandmaster Zdeněk in Prague. Fortunately, God did not let him carry out the crime. But 2 of our brothers were killed by Conrad when they tried to detain him.
And I see a third one will soon join them.
He was just about to flee from here as well. We took him by surprise, but he had time to grab that damned crossbow and shoot Klesgen. By the Virgin Mary, help us. We have to catch him.
Why should I get mixed up in it?
I'll pay you. We just need to distract Conrad's attention. That's all. Otherwise, we won't have a chance against his crossbow in that gorge.
Did Conrad really want to flee?
Yes. We stopped him at the last moment. He almost got away, but we surrounded him.
You're a knight of an order?
Yes. I am Brother Arnold, a Knight of the Cross with the Red Star. And these are Brothers Sibald and Nicholas. You are too late to make the acquaintance of Brother Klesgen, I'm afraid. We take care of the sick in infirmaries throughout the land. But we can't help our brother. You have to help us, while there's still time.
That swine tried to deceive me. He mustn't get away.
God, thank you. Try to get close unseen, and set fire to the haystack on the right-hand side of the yard. Then his crossbow will be useless. But do it quickly, before he gets away.
Vita. Docedo es spes nostra. Salva. Ave Maria. Gratia plena.
Hey, fella! Listen, we need help!
Benedicta tu in Mariaribus.
Jesus Christ!
Who are you? And who do you serve?
We are Knights of the Cross with the Red Star. Good brothers in Christ. I'll explain everything, but there's no time now. We have...
What happened?
If you're going to see the Hermit, be warned. The man in the hut is just pretending to be the Hermit. His name is Conrad, and he's a fraud and a murderer. The Inquisition paid him to murder our Grandmaster Zdeněk in Prague. Unfortunately, God did not let him carry out the crime. But 2 of our brothers were killed by Conrad when they tried to detain him.
And I see a third one will soon join them.
He was just about to flee from here as well. We took him by surprise, but he had time to grab that damned crossbow and shoot Klesgen. By the Virgin Mary, help us. We have to catch him.
You're a knight of an order?
Yes. I am Brother Arnold, a knight of the cross with the red star. And these are Brothers Sibald and Nicholas. You are too late to make the acquaintance of Brother Klesgen, I'm afraid. We take care of the sick in infirmaries throughout the land. But we can't help our brother. You have to help us, while there's still time.
Did Conrad really want to flee?
Yes. We stopped him at the last moment. He almost got away, but we surrounded him.
Why should I get mixed up in it?
I'll pay you. We just need to distract Conrad's attention, that's all. Otherwise, we won't have a chance against his crossbow in that gorge.
This is your business. I'm not gonna get mixed up in it.
Mary, Mother of God. You must be in league with him. Of course. Why else would you be here? Damn it! I should have known.
No, I'm not in league with him. And if I don't have any choice, I'll help you.
God, thank you. Try to get close unseen and set fire to the haystack on the right-hand side of the yard. Then his crossbow will be useless. But do it quickly, before he gets away.
Help me. Mata misericordia.
Hey, stop right there. Halt, or I'll shoot.
Wait, Conrad! It's me, Henry!
Don't move a muscle, I mean it.
I talked to the widow, Margaret. I did what you wanted.
I'm afraid the circumstances have changed.
They sent me after you, but I'm not your enemy.
I don't believe you. I don't believe anyone anymore. I don't want to kill you. Go away.
I can help you. Let's talk.
All right. But make it quick. And no sudden movements. Agnosco fortunam Cartaginus. What do you want?
You wanted to run off and break our agreement.
And what is it you want to hear from me?
Where can I find Ambrose's broken sword?
It's not far. At the edge of the meadow up there are 2 entangled birch trees. There's a grave beneath them, and the sword is on the grave.
Why do they want to kill you?
Why? They want to silence me. I had proof of our Grandmaster's Denyek's treachery. But they are blind. They refuse to believe me.
What about the murders? Did you really kill 2 brothers of the Order?
I had to defend myself. I'd be dead if I hadn't killed them.
That's all I need to know.
There's no time to go into it. Sorry, young man. You got mixed up in a game of high stakes, and there's no way back.
In that case, we'll play that game out together. Just let them come.
Thank you, friend. Benedictio Domini sit tecum. I know the truth, and I can tell you. But if you'd rather try to kill me, come on! Now you're gonna get it.
Take that fucker out! Get away with that, bastard! Oh! You should have fucking stayed out of it!
We're going to dash you, poor son!
I'll hack your ass!
You got him! Put that weapon away.
So you have a weapon. Big deal. Is that supposed to be a threat? You were beginning to make me nervous.
Put that away.
Damn it! What was that all about?
I think I owe you an explanation.
Yeah, you're right. Let's hear it then.
And what is it you want to hear from me?
Why were they trying to kill you?
I had proof that our Grand Master's Denyak had damned him.
That's all I need to know.
And that's an end to it. This is in return for your silence.
Thank you. I won't say a word. Don't worry.
Farewell, friend. Go with God.
Where's the Hermit's grave? It ought to be somewhere around here. There's nothing more here. Sorry, Ambrose. Rest in peace. Now that's what I call steel. It may be broken, but there's hardly a trace of rust.
Did you... Greetings. You know you stink, don't you?
So I'm back, Master Blacksmith.
Excellent. How did it go with the Hermit?
He's dead.
What? Did you...
No, not me. It just got a bit complicated. Anyway, it turns out old Ambrose really used to be a knight. And this really is Toledo steel. You were right, Blacksmith.
God's nails. That's quite something.
First class welded steel. Ambrose must have broken the sword himself, deliberately. It wouldn't have just happened in battle.
That's exactly what we need. See now, youngster. My clever plan worked out nicely in the end.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your, clever plan.
You haven't disappointed me yet, lad. So I'm sure forging an exceptional sword won't be a problem for you either.
Wait, I thought you wanted to do it yourself. I'm just your assistant, after all.
Not at all. I trust you. One day you'll become a master. That is, unless you lose your head first.
Burning. Done. Burning.
Oh, did you sleep in a barn or what? Looking like that.
This'll take a bit longer. Done. Burning.
for fuck's sake. Fine. Now to temper it.
How can I help you today, friend?
I've got something for you, Blacksmith.
God's nails, you weren't bullshitting.
I'd say it looks pretty much like a sword, eh?
Looks like. This is a damned fine piece of steel. Damned fine.
Thanks. I was glad to help, but now there's something I need from you.
I'll pay you, of course. And if you want to do some smithing, I won't throw you out of my forge either.
No, you know full well what I need. I have to get to Samin's wedding.
Why is it so important for you? It'll just be a lot of people stuffing their faces. You can find that anywhere.
I have my reasons, and you don't need to know them.
God's nails, lad. You're full of mysteries. But whatever, that's your business. I don't mind taking you to the wedding. Nothing to it. We can set off once you're ready.
Can we go to Samin now?
Not so fast, Henry.
The sword's ready, so what are we waiting for?
Are those your best clothes?
Aye.
Then get yourself something nicer.
Can you tell me where I can get nicer clothes?
The only decent tailor around is Bartoszek in Troshkovitz. He'll surely sell you some. Come back when you no longer look like you just come from shoveling manure. We're not going to some village fete, but a nobleman's wedding, for Christ's sake. Dress up nicely so you don't disgrace me. And please, no damned armor.
All right.
Stop moaning and do it. We don't want to be late.